Good afternoon, this is Rich from the New Jersey Ghost Organization, and I'm going to show you two versions of an EM pump that the last few weeks I was putting together, and I was getting a lot of advice online and from some good friends. I want to thank my brother Eddie Zarzichny, who's an electronics technician and an electrician. He gave me a lot of advice on the wiring and and gave me the LEDs. Mike from Mystic Paranormal, Josh from Ohio Paranormal Association, and Rich from Colorado Paratech. If it wasn't for the advice that I got from these individuals and their organizations, I wouldn't be able to get the knowledge I know to put these together, so thank you very much. And if I forgot anybody, I greatly apologize. So this is what we have now. I have a one motor EM pump, and I have a dual motor EM pump. First, what I did was I purchased this motor here, and one couple flaws in it. So the only reason why I bought it because it had this spindle on the top where I can easily mount the earth magnet to the top, and I'd be able to hot glue it in. But the problem I found with this motor is not only is it extremely noisy, but it gives a lot of vibration. So what I did was I purchased the tray motors for the Xbox 360. And these motors are a lot quieter and they run a lot smoother. But I did have to do a little modification to mount the magnet on top of the spindle correctly. I actually had to get a small screwdriver, and on the inside where the spindle meets the shaft, I had to pry up just a little bit, just enough, by turning the screwdriver to lift the spindle up high enough to where the shaft would be a little bit recessed. Makes it so much easier to mount the earth magnet to the top of the motor. So what we have on the inside of the single motor, which is actually run by two AA's, you can see how I mount it. The magnet I actually used, I was able to get through my company one of the original earth magnets, which is a Sumerian Cobalt Type 217, which has a very high pull. It's a 1/2-inch earth magnet, and the thickness I believe is 0.190 thick, and they mount really nice on top of the on top of the tray motors. I have a small switch, and with a green LED light, and a 220 resistor. That's the one my brother actually put together for me. So I'm going to turn this unit on, and you can hear how quiet it is. This is a single motor unit. And actually what I did too, I put felt pads on the bottom. So if I have to put it on a wooden or flat surface, it wouldn't vibrate as much. And it doesn't really vibrate much at all. So I have actually the K2 meter. So I'm going to try this out right now. Okay, right now it's reading about 10 plus, almost 15 milligauss. And I'm actually maybe about 8 to 10 inches away, and I'm just getting a reading within 20 plus. Okay, so with the single motor you have a fairly nice EMF field, but it's a little bit of a narrow field, which is actually okay. I really like this one a lot. Now what I want to do is I want to try out the dual motor. I'll put this one on the side for now. Now what I did with the dual motor, it runs on 9 volts. So I went with 6 AA batteries. I may modify this later and run with 4 AA's. As with a single motor we uses 2 AA's, I may run on 2 and 2. But the 3, it makes the motors run a lot faster, and I really didn't see too much of a change in the EMF field. But I actually read where the faster the motor, the better the magnets, the higher the EMF field. So I'm going to leave this one alone. I'll turn this unit on, and then I'll show you the inside when we're all done. You can hear it with the dual motor, it is a lot louder. It's because you're running 2, but the reason why I wanted to use 3, or actually 6 AA's, was because I wanted the weight to keep it down. I also have felt pads on the bottom. Okay, use the K2. Okay, here we see. Now I'm about 10 inches away, and this is probably why they call it an EM pump. You can probably see how the EMF field is being pumped into the air. And you can also notice with the dual motors, you're getting a much wider EMF field. Now I'm about 12 to 18 inches away, and it's reading almost 5 to 10 milligauss. So actually this is putting out a pretty nice EMF field. So I may believe the quality of the earth magnets actually might have something to do with it. Pretty nice. And what I have here is a electrosensor. This is going to measure the numbers as far as the field and strength of milligauss. Calibrate. Oh, it's already reading, see? And I'm actually pretty far away from this. See, it's already in the red. So I'm actually about 18, it's reading about 15 milligauss, about almost 18 to 20 inches away. Now if I get closer, it's reading 30 plus milligauss, and I'm about 10 inches away. So I'm not sure which is actually more sensitive, the electrosensor or the K2. I'll trust them both. But this is putting out some pretty awesome EMFs. Okay, let's take a look on the inside. And then I have a schematic. I'll show you exactly how the wiring got put together. You can see on the inside the dual motors. Now the way I have this wired is I have it wired as the motors are not turning in the same direction. One's turning this way and the other turning in the opposite direction. So you can see how I actually have the wires pretty much all secured to the bottom of the box. I have them, you don't want nothing getting tangled on the inside. Using a hot glue gun keeps everything in place really, really nice. And the way I have the switch, I'm not sure if you can see, I got the switch wired to the LED light. Alright, so we're going to go to the schematic. So this is what we have. I got the AA batteries. I use 3 on each side. You can even go with 2. It won't spin. It'll spin a little bit slower, but it'll be a little bit quieter. But the larger box, I'm probably going to use for outdoor cemetery activities as the single motor inside, which is a lot quieter when you're doing possibly the, you know, we're going to do videos, or you're going to do EVPs. So the way I have this, you have the batteries. The positive and the negative get connected together. The positive from one side goes to the middle of the switch. From the middle of the switch, you have another lead. I use a red wire going to the positive side of the LED. The LED is soldered with a 220 resistor. Now the 220 resistor is connected to the negative side on the opposite side of the battery. This way, everything works in parallel. That's why I have this rig. I have this all put together like this. Okay. Now the motors, to run in the opposite direction, I had to join the 2 red together, the red positives, and join the negatives together. So now I ran one wire to the positive side of the LED, and the negative side to the negative side of the LED with the 220 resistor. And that's how you run the dual motors. The single motors, I don't have the schematic for that, but if you go on the website of Colorado Paratech, Rich has a great video on how he breaks this down and how it actually works. But that's all I have for now. Any questions, comments, please let me know. I really thank you for looking at the video, and everybody go out there, happy hunting.